Okay, been walking around a little bit. I'm back here at the original pinned location where the remains were found. Somebody came back and they've luckily I was able to still see the orange spray paint, and you can barely make out the numbers. But somebody had covered the area with grass. They took away the stick markings and the stake that was marking it. I stuck this stick in. I can't even find the pin at this point. I'm hoping somebody didn't pull the pin out. I'm hoping they just pushed it down further so it's not so obvious. But somebody was definitely disguising, covering up the area because there was grass. I pulled the grass and I put a stick basically where I remember, because I remember the pin was just a little bit to the side of where the numbers were, which are right here. So I think the pin is like in this general vicinity right here, about where I put the stake. As long as somebody just pushed it down further, I guess that's okay. There you can see remnants of the orange paint, and like I said, the camera won't show it, but you can still just faintly make out the numbers right here, right where my stick is there. So you can still see that. Plus a lot of us that's been coming up here, we've marked the location, with coordinates, so. But yeah, and I noticed that at the other areas too. So somebody keeps coming up here, some people are marking it, and then other people come and they take it down for whatever reason. I look at it as, under the circumstances, I'm not too concerned with being what's respectful and what's not respectful. This is more about just trying to piece things together. It's just, I'll leave that at that. So somebody's definitely coming up here and removing. They literally took everything. Because we had it, I didn't do it, but somebody had a nice stake in there with an orange flag on it last week. So, but anyway, what I want to get on, the reason I fired up the camera. Okay, last week, if you guys remember when I was in this area, I'm going to go back on this water theory thing. If you look down that way, let's look all the way down there. This was all full of water last week, okay? And then we have the skull and the remains found here. Supposedly the dry bag was like over in there, which I'm still just not sure about that. The reason being is I haven't found any, I don't remember seeing any orange evidence circles over there. But I want to go back on this water thing. So I'm going to take you guys and we're going to walk back through here. But this makes totally sense. There's where the water bottle was found on that side, just in probably 15-20 feet from the tree line. And you can see this opening. So water flows, and then even through here, that opening. So the water from up front, and that all ties to those areas I showed you where the 3 evidence circles are, and where there was water last week and still a little bit this week. That all ties together. So everything spread out roughly, I would say 30 yards in a wide path, and it just floated from the tree swing area all the way down to here. Now, where they found the remains at this pinned location, is that where it all stopped? I don't believe so. I think that's just where that stuff ended up. So what we're going to do is let's walk back through here. And we're going to just follow this canal. You can see, or this low dished out area. I'm going to kneel down. I want to walk you back to the field. It's actually a big, huge swamp, which if you go to Google Earth and you locate this small field, like I said, it's about a football-sized field. And then behind here is this huge, it appears to be a field, but what it is, it's a swamp. And when the water's up, that thing is literally a swamp. This all drained. All this area drained from up at the canal, Big Slough Canal, and the tree swing area. All comes back this direction, and it totally makes sense. I'm going to assume, since the remains were found there, that this is such an easy search in here that for sure law enforcement had to have at least took a walkthrough of this area. Because my thinking was, you know, if you're, for the diehards out there, if you're still looking for items, you know, possible remains yet, this is the area you want to search now, this direction. You know, which I did a little bit. I took about an hour and just walked what I felt comfortable doing. I've pretty much covered the easy areas, obviously here where the dirt's dry, or I mean where it's just regular woods, ground. But any of his items probably floated right down through here. I'm going to walk in this dished out area where the water was. You can see the, I'll get down, you can kind of see the ground level. So this is where the water lays. But remember, when this was at its peak there in that, around that week of the 23rd, until October 7th when things started draining out, this was probably knee-deep water in here. Easily knee-deep water. At least ankle-deep water, but here where this dished out area is, this was definitely knee-deep water. But maybe up where it's a little higher, it might have been just ankle-deep. So my theory is that all of any remaining items, remains or items, you know, clothing, backpack items, whatever he had with him, probably floated right down through here, out to here. Now this looks like a good area where stuff would get hung up. So that's why I'm thinking law enforcement must have really searched it. You know, I'm sure they're smart enough to walk this canal, or this drainage ditch, whatever you want to call it. Drainage canal, that's what we'll call it. I'm sure, and you know, there's a lot of places here where stuff could get hung up. And whether they found anything, we just don't know. You know, nobody's really said. And I haven't heard of any reports of curiosity seekers finding anything back here. But we'll get out here then in this big marsh area. And I'll show you what that looks like in the vast area that's going to be. But yeah, there could definitely be stuff, little items, fragments. Just depends on how serious you are about digging through all this. There's a good chance there could be some stuff hung up in this brush. But you can see it all pushes this way. See how it piles up against the trees? So that tells you the water flows this direction. And this is the same direction that all the items and the remains were found, flowing this direction. And they were all within that like 30-yard wide path from the tree swing area. So that's why I'm convinced that's the area where things probably went down. Now here's this field out back. I'll call it a field, but this is actually a swamp during rainy season. I did kind of walk this area where it looks easy, where the grass is shorter. So I did stomp through here, but any remaining items or possible, you know, it could have been that the body was still, you know, buoyant enough that it ended up out in here. And you can definitely see how high the grass is now. And you've got a huge area to look for stuff. Now you could narrow that search down. I would keep it about 30 to 50 yards wide at the most, probably 30 yards, and come right out from where the staked area where the remains are, and then just walk this area out across there. You know, if you put together like a search team and you all got maybe 6 to 10 feet apart, but this is huge. This swamp is huge. Now I'm pretty sure right there, like out there about 50 feet, I'm pretty sure that gets knee deep in water right at this moment. So I'm not even going to attempt to go out in there. But you can see how thick this grass is. So if there is anything laying, you know, if it's not laying on top, I mean, boy, you got to be really dedicated to just dig through that grass to find anything. There are areas, though, as you can see, like right here, and like out in there. And those are obvious areas, and that'd be the first place anybody would look. So I'm sure there's been enough people up here that somebody surely has come back here, and they would have found stuff that would be obviously laying in the open. Another interesting thing is right over that direction-ish, that's the Live Long Return Trail. Like right over on that side of the swamp, on that side, over there. We found it the first time we came down. We found it over there. So it's over there about 100 yards. But as you can see, this is the area where I feel everything drained out into. So, for all you people out there, for you people that are still just, want to continue on, there's a lot of area out here for you to sift through. I think I'm going to focus on the immediate known areas and try to determine where things originated from, is what I want to focus on. So I haven't even searched the tree swing area. Okay, I'm going to look up this drainage canal up to right where, see that opening up there, the daylight? It looks far on my camera, but I would say that's probably 75 yards up there, 50 to 75 yards. That is where that's where the remains were found. So you can see everything floated back this direction. If it went past that, was the items found, the skull and partial skull and stuff, is that the last items and everything just stopped there? I doubt it, but it could be. It could be that nothing came back here, but I don't feel that's the case. I feel like, until they release what exactly they found, like did they find his shoes? Did they find his clothes? Did they find his hat? Did they find his, all those items that he had with him that day? They're probably out here in this field. As you can see, it's huge. It's actually a marsh. It's not a field, but is that a pig over there laying? Can't tell. Maybe a pig sunning himself. We'll just leave him be if it is. But yeah, and there you can see the power line. Look right straight ahead. That's Power Line Trail right there. And you can see another set of poles. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not, but you can definitely hear. Let me zoom in. Let me try to zoom in on it. Right there. You should be able to see that. Okay, so there's a Power Line Trail. To give you a reference, and that would be over in the direction where you come from the famous bridge. So we'll head back in here. We'll walk back out to where the remains were found. But yeah, there's a lot of searching that can be done back here. I mean, look at all this stuff. Somebody could literally walk through here, and if there's a lot of area for stuff to get hung up. But once again, there's been enough people up here now, locals, and just other curiosity seekers, putting this together, like myself. Surely somebody would have found something. And whether they've went public with it or reported it, we just don't know. But I haven't heard anything new since the water bottle and some of those items that the TikTok crew turned in. That's pretty much the last I've heard of anything being found, and that was the morning after we came down. And like I said earlier, we had seen a lot of that stuff, and we just assumed that it had nothing to do with anything, unfortunately, because we should have probably called and at least let somebody know before it all got crazy, I guess. But there's nothing wrong with, I mean, they left and they opened up the park, so hey, those guys came up and they did the right, they called the authorities, unlike me, and did the right thing. So can't say, you know, nothing wrong with that at all. We're walking, I'm angling back towards that drainage canal. I just wanted to quick show you around that, yeah, there's plenty. But see, this is such an obvious search. Like, it's easy. Like, you know, just general hikers could come in here. They come back and they see the area where the remains were. And they're like, hey, let's go walk around back here. This is easy. And they probably did. So I'm going to assume that if there was anything back here, it's already been found. And just go with that. Like I said, I've spent about an hour zigzagging this whole area. You know, just scanning. And I haven't come across anything unusual. So, like I said, it really feels like this whole area up here, crime scene area, has really been picked through at this point. You know, here be an area where there might be some stuff, you know, small items. You know, if you wanted to dig through all that, but you gotta be careful because there could be snakes and stuff. Boy, the mosquitoes are super bad today. Okay, we're walking right down dead center of the drainage canal, right back out to the remains. Just scan a little bit. I'm going to quick walk over to where there's been reports of where the dry bag was found. I'm just not sure. I just don't see it. I mean, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some video. I'm going to shut down and then start a fresh short video. And I'm going to scan. And I'm hopefully, and if any of you guys or anybody watches that I'll make a note of what video that is. See if we can match it up. I mean, other people have matched it up and they're pretty, and it looks, I mean, I would say it's somewhat accurate. Then it could definitely possibly be, and it may be exactly. Plus some of the people I was watching said they actually had the Fox News guy tell them where the dry bag was picked up at. So I guess if you got that information, you'd probably know. But there's where we walked across, and that's where the water bottle was found over there, and then I found that mask, which I feel probably was part of Brian's belongings, because, yeah, it could have been law enforcement or somebody like that dropped it, but this thing was bleached out, and we were up here, you know, just right after. It wouldn't have been that bleached out. It looked like something that's laid out for like at least a month. And until Brian did his thing, I just don't see why somebody would be wearing a mask up here outdoors. And I don't think he was wearing one. I just think it was in his belongings, because like they found socks back here and other pieces of clothing. So, but anyway, what I've seen, and I just don't know if, you know, if we're being duped or not, I just don't know, but they claim back here this little nook. Like, this is where you come in where the crime circles are. And then there's the remains straight across from me. Okay, water bottle found over there. They're saying that like right in here, see this like little niched out area? Like somewhere in here. So let's just walk down and then we'll pop back up the other side. But somewhere in here, they're saying that that dry bag was found. I just, you know, I've looked. I just don't see any circles. You know, orange. Now it's going to be hard. But we had looked this area the second time I came down. There it looks like some sort of a path. But some are saying that this is where the area where Chris came, like the trail's over there about 75 yards. Live-long access trail. And he plowed through, then ending through here, and popped out in here and found that dry bag. And then somewhere in here is the footage. of where him and Roberta are standing, you know, with the dry bag. So I'm gonna shut down. Like he walked. See, if you walk straight through here, see that little bit of daylight over there? That's power line access trail, 75 yards away. I found that interesting, how close, if you don't walk all the way up the trail and you just come off the trail right there, you literally walk right back here where the remains were. That's kind of wild. The more I come up here, the more you start figuring get your bearings and figure your locations, and then you're like, wow, things are really closer than you think. But yeah, you can literally walk straight out that path right here. Go in here and show you. If you walk straight through there, you're literally out there on the power line trail, access trail. So, but yeah, anyway, back to what they were saying. So let's take a shot from right here. Let's say the Fox News guy's in here somewhere. The remains are right down there in the area of, see where all that brush and logs are. There's a low branch, kind of. But right up in that area, I can't see my stake. So roughly in that area, and then Chris and Roberta were like standing here holding the bag somewhere. Like, and I just don't know what angle that shot might have been taken. And then it looks like they walked down that way, which, you know, we just walked down, but then it kind of, it doesn't really go towards anything, so I'm not too sure. The other angle that picture could have been taken from, see, right out there is the access trail. Here's this bent tree. It might have been taken like through here somehow. No, because I don't remember seeing this bent tree in any of the pictures. But, you know, was the Fox News guy kind of standing like right back here behind this palm? That could be it, maybe. No, because you just don't see enough of this outside. So it had to be on this side, like right. So I want to scan from right to left. Then if any of you guys can match this up, you know, match up these trees, like notice this low-hanging branch right dead ahead of us, you know, I for some reason feel like I remember that in one of the pictures. Okay, so I'm going to shut down now.